Hello everybody and welcome along to this week's Woolcast. Joining me this week I've got Arron, Grizz and Gav. And Grizz is after spending the last 5 minutes bitching at me, telling me that I don't introduce everybody. So lads, I'm going to give you a second to say how you're all doing. Are we all well this week?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, great. See how good was that? How easy was that, Sam?
That's it, Grizz. That's after making the podcast now that everyone got to hear you all saying, yeah, great. I'm Craig, by the way, your host. I never remember to introduce myself, so I promised I'd do it this week. Lads, it's getting tough to make up agendas with no football, but thank goodness there's some coming our way on Wednesday, and I suppose it's as good a place as any to start, so let's get straight into what we expect Klopp is going to want to see in pre-season, and will anybody be able to force their way into his thoughts for the season ahead. Arron, you're going to the Tranmere game on Wednesday, so I'm going to come to you first, buddy. What do you think Klopp's expecting from the lads during this pre-season, and do you think anyone's going to force their way in?
I think usually, especially with the first couple of pre-season games, because as you know, I think we did it last year, we've done a tour of the North, didn't we, really? So I think what you're going to probably be expecting is mainly you're just going to be looking at work rate, aren't you? You're just going to be looking for players to show us what they can do and what they can, how they can get around the pitch. But I think you've got a few young lads that are obviously going to be trying to stake their claim, and they're going to be going on tour, aren't they? So it's which ones are really up for the task. I mean, last year I was really impressed with Grujic. He started really well. I thought Woodburn obviously had a great pre-season, and I think Danny Ings started really well last season as well. So I think it's more of the same, really. I think you're going to be seeing the same boys trying to show that they're going to be in that 23-man squad next season.
What are you expecting to see on Wednesday night when you're at the Tranmere game? We're probably going to see two different teams in two different halves again, but is there anyone you're looking forward to seeing get a run out?
Obviously, you're going to be looking forward to seeing Solanke if he's in the squad, purely because you just want to see what he's like. To be honest, I don't think any Liverpool fan can really say they know an awful lot about him. He's a young kid. He went on loan to the Tees, didn't he? We've seen a little bit of him in a tournament, but then again, tournament football is very different to playing for Liverpool. So I think Solanke's one. I want to see what he's like. I'm probably looking forward to seeing if Grujic is back involved again. I'd like to see Grujic and see if he's going to actually push on this year, because you can't forget last pre-season he was superb. He scored one with his right foot against, I could be wrong, but I think he might have scored against Swindon. He scored with his left foot against Huddersfield, and he scored a header against Barcelona, which was truly unforgettable, wasn't it? So Grujic is another. And one player that I don't think he'll be involved in Tranmere, but I'd love to see Danny Ings come back again. And I'd love to see if he can have a good pre-season under his belt to really stake his claim as a Jurgen Klopp striker.
Yeah, I think we'd all hope Danny Ings gets a good run in pre-season. Gav, Arron was saying there that not many of our fans know much about Solanke, but I'd like to disagree there, because 99% of our fans reckon he's shite. And he's written off already, and all the footballing geniuses on Twitter think that he's got a hope and was a waste of money, even though what's he going to cost us? 6-8 million quid?
Yeah, it hasn't been agreed at Tribunal. Yeah, hasn't it? Not. It was rumoured at 3 million, and then he had a good tournament, and there's talk of 7, 8, or 10 million was touted. And yeah, he's being written off because people know everything when they actually know nothing. I've tried to look up a bit of detail on him from former coaches, or even coaches that have coached against him, and they all seem to really, really rate him. With regards to pre-season, yeah, as Arron said, it is a workout. It's getting up to speed. It's getting your fitness back, sharpness back. I'm not saying that the established players will go through the motions, but they know where they stand within the squad. So you'll see them just building on fitness, 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there. You might see a little bit more from fringe players and young players. I'd love to see Solanke just to see what he's like. Everyone's praying Danny Ings comes back, and just for Danny Ings' sake, gets a run of games and nothing happens to him, and he comes through even pre-season where he's fitting for. And but there's a few there that will have to impress. There's a few being rumoured to go out on loan, the likes of Ojo, maybe Kent again, Ajaria, who had a really good game against Tranmere last season, if I remember right. So they'll all be trying. But look, these games against Tranmere and Wigan in particular, it's just about getting back into things, and it will be probably two separate 11s for both games. But there's plenty of players there that will try to impress, because when Klopp says that, or when Klopp is rumoured to have said he's going to survey the squad over the summer and have a look and pre-season and try, just see where people stand. I actually believe that. I think he does give people a chance. So there's plenty of spots there for players to work their way into the tour that they go on, maybe, and further on, when the season starts, because as I already know, we're signing nobody between now and September the 1st. So that's the squad we have. And with a bit of luck, a lot of these lads will turn up and be better than Van Dijk and Keita, because we're not getting them or anyone.
You've just absolutely stitched me up for my next question to Grizz there. Thanks. I was just about to open with Grizz. They won't be making it this week, but are you looking forward to seeing Van Dijk and Keita in pre-season? But that's out the window now. So Grizz.
No, we're signing nobody. We're just we're going with the squad we have. We've apologised to the FA for even entering into the transfer window.
Yeah.
And we're pulling ourselves out. We've declared that we've no interest in the transfer window now. So
it's probably fair enough.
Officially through a letter, and we're just going to go with what we have, So that'd be great, actually, if it really did happen.
Grizz, I touched on it before we came on air, but do you think there's anybody that's fighting for their place in this pre-season, or do you think that Klopp's made up his mind about the majority of players at this stage?
Yeah, I guess the majority is sort of set in his mind who he's going to keep, who he's not. But there's always someone or some young player that comes through. I'm one of these guys who gets excited about preseason. I know a lot of people just say, preseason, nobody has any interest in the games or whatnot. But I'm one of these. I really get excited. I've been watching the training videos and sort of the interview of the players, and I just love it. I love it all. If you remember last preseason, we actually saw a glimpse of this wonder kid Woodburn, didn't we? And he actually impressed, and he actually forced his way into sort of Klopp's plans for the rest of the season. So I think there's always players that are sort of fighting to go on tour, as Arron said as well. And there's always, because we've had a lot of sort of application for loans for some of our players, and I think Liverpool and Klopp have said no to everyone because he actually wants to have a look. I think he definitely wants to have a look at everyone in training, see how everyone is, and then he's going to make his decision. So I'm guessing there's always a breakthrough player that comes through in preseason, has an absolute barnstorming season, and he sort of gets into the squad on some occasions, and that's what youngsters are looking for at the end of the day. Their first aim is to get on that tour. Gav, help me out. Where are we going on tour this year? Arron,
Hong Kong.
Anyone know, Arron? Are we going to Hong Kong?
Yeah, Hong Kong.
We're going to Hong Kong for 2 games, and then we're going to Germany, I think, for 2, isn't it?
So the first target. Yeah. Okay, so the first target is always any of the youngsters. The target is to get on that tour. That is the main aim, and so they'll be busting a gut in training. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm already excited about the Tranmere game.
Well,
I have to say,
they say the best pre-season game for last, though, lads. Let's not forget. Coming over to Dublin last, the best pre-season game. Sorry, Arron, you want to come in?
I was just going to say, when you said about is there any player fighting for their place, I was going to say there might not be one fighting for his place in the squad, but there certainly is one for the 11. I think you got to look at Nathaniel Clyne this year. I like Clyne. I really rate Clyne. But if you look when I look on social media and everything else, the hype around Trent at the moment in terms of new deal, and then Clyne obviously last year maybe didn't do enough going forwards. I think if Trent Alexander-Arnold has a really good pre-season, I honestly think he can knock Clyne off that perch.
Yeah, no, look, I think it's a reasonable assumption to make, and I think a lot of us are hoping along the same way. And I said at the end of last season, and I kind of got slated for it, and I might have been a bit premature on it, but I really rate Trent very, very highly from what I've seen. Gav, you wanted to come back in before we move on to Trent on the last point?
No, you just touched on Trent there, and Arron has said there he may knock him off the perch. I'm all for this, and I'm not all for Trent or Clyne. I'm all for people fighting it out for positions. That's what you want.
Yeah.
And I want 6 midfielders fighting for 3 places. I want 6 forwards killing each other to get into the front 3. I want goalkeepers playing out of their skin to get 1 place. This is what we want. You're going to go on to Trent, so I won't go too much into it, but he's a fabulous player in the making. A fabulous player.
Lads, just before I do move on to Trent, I just want to go around real quick and just ask you all, is there anybody that you have a sneaking suspicion, outside of Trent possibly, that will push their way through in this pre-season and maybe get a place in the matchday squad for next season that wouldn't necessarily have got one? Grizz, I'll come to you last because I know you like your thinking time. Arron, what about yourself?
Do you know what? It's really difficult this year because I think usually you've had a player in the under-23s that's really made his stamp. And the only one that I can honestly think of that's made a mark last season in the under-23s was Wilson. But that's purely because Woodburn and Trent didn't really have much of a play in the under-23s last season because our squad was so thin. They were always in our matchday squad. I would have loved to have seen Brewster get a few minutes, but obviously we know he's going to be out for pre-season. So I think the only player that I can really think of is between two, and it will be between Ojo and Kent. I think one of them is going to be going. I think the other one has a real chance because there isn't much backup for a natural winger for Mane or Salah. So for me, it is either Ojo or Kent. It's between the two.
Well, get off the fence. I want the name.
Shea Ojo. I still have faith in the boy. I saw him at Stoke, play against Stoke, not last season, the season before. We got an assist for Sturridge, and his pace, his touch is frustrating. He's one of those players, I think one game, it'll be a world beater. In the other game, you just think until you just beat your man. A bit like Jordan Ibe was. If Ojo can actually add that end product for me, he can go far at Liverpool, but he's got one season left to prove it, and I think if he doesn't do it this year, it won't happen.
Yeah, just touching on Ibe there. I seen him in Dublin a few years back for the Celtic game when we played in Lansdowne Road, and I was blown away by the build of the guy, his physicality, and just how powerful he was. And I would, if you would have asked me then, I'd have sworn blind that he was going to make it into the first team and be a regular. So I suppose nothing is guaranteed, but Shea Ojo certainly looks like a damn good prospect. Gav, is there anybody that you're thinking might make a surprise breakthrough?
It's hard to say. Aaron's right. It's difficult this season. Like last season, you looked on the Tranmere and the Wigan games. You looked at Ajari. I thought he was really, really good, cool on the ball. He was physical. He held on to it. He vision. He looks a really, really good player. I just don't know where you play him. Woodburn. I think Woodburn will do all right. I don't think he'll go out on loan. I think he'd have a similar season to what he had last season. In and out of the matchday squad, may get the odd chance, Day Cup. But if you're looking for someone to break through, because Woodburn has probably broken through and Trent has as well, I think Aaron's right. I think you're looking at Kent or Ojo. From all accounts, Kent has been really, really good at Barnsley on loan. Ojo's had a difficult season with injury, but if I was to pick one of them, I think one will go out on loan. Maybe it could be two of them, but if I was to pick one where I'd pin a hope on, I'd agree. I think it's Ojo. I think, he's got a little bit of a hard time because he's been injured and people have kind of nearly forgotten about him. But he has got his pace, his power. He has got a final ball. And I'd probably go with Ojo. I never talk about Wilson because that's, for me, it's the strangest underage career I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
for a chap that gets nigh on 30 goals in under 23s, there's just something. He just seems to be not able to make that step. He's obviously training with the first team every now and then, and it's just not enough. But I think Harry Wilson will go in the summer. But if you had to give me one, I'd still go with Ojo.
And Mr. Khan?
You come to me last because I'm going to make all these points in the first place, and now I'm going to look like I'm copying. But luckily, Twitter's come to my rescue. And this morning, I watched
Jesus, I think that's the first time in a while Twitter's come to your rescue, Grizz.
Well, it has its benefits. So I was watching LFC train this morning on the LFC TV live stream, and I actually commented because I was that impressed. And I know it's just a training drill, but sometimes a football connoisseur like myself can actually pick up, even in a training drill, someone's touch and the speed of dribble from a player. And in one group I was watching, there was a group, I don't know if you guys were watching it, Aaron and Gav. There was one group which included Wilson, Woodburn, Ejaria, Ojo and Kent. Now, obviously, that was purposely planned by Klopp to put them all in one group. So there were groups of 5, 6 of them. And I tell you what, the lad Wilson and Woodburn's touch, it was just a level above the rest of them. The speed, the technique they deployed, absolutely blew me away. And I actually said, yes, Ojo's made a breakthrough, has made a breakthrough last season. Injuries have hampered him slightly. I thought Kent outplayed Markovic last season, but still was sent away on loan in the preseason. So I thought Kent might have been sort of kept, but he wasn't. That doesn't bode well, even though he's had a brilliant season. He did. I think he was voted the player of the season, I think, Gav. Barnsley's or something like that.
I'm not sure. I just seen
I think I read that somewhere.
There was a compilation of his kind of highlights, and some of the stuff he was doing with the ball was
it's lovely. I rate the kid. Look, Woodburn, we don't count, as you said, is similar to Trent, that he's sort of made a breakthrough, hasn't he?
The problem I see with Woodburn, Grizz, is that I think he's too young to send out on loan, because I'd still want him to develop at Liverpool, and he's also too young to really push himself through the first team, in my eyes. Yeah, no, you're spot on. And to be honest with you, he's at that age where I don't want him to go away from everyday training with Firmino, Coutinho, Klopp, Salah. You know, I want him to be learning and sort of being groomed as this, you know, as I said today earlier and again on Twitter, as the hire took from Firmino. I mean, he's his successor. I think he's going to end up playing in that role. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful player. But I really, really want to see Harry Wilson come through. I mean, to me, this kid it's weird. I mean, with Gav, I just don't understand. He's a phenomenal goal scorer, assist, stats man in terms of for the under 23s. His record is superb. Not just last season, you know, last few seasons. I was shocked that he didn't get. I think he had quite a few injuries actually, Gav. He had quite a couple of very bad niggly sort of ankle problems, you know, and he's that kind of player.
He did have a few injuries, and he went on loan to.
He didn't do too well on loan, yeah.
I think it might have been Crewe, but you see, the problem when you send these players on loan is they're going down to the lower divisions, and if the team they're loaned out to is in any way trouble come around, you know, January, February, the default setting is to go with experience, and these lads
automatically it's the fair factor.
They end up losing out on experience, and it just becomes it's not worth it. That's why you see Klopp now and Liverpool insisting on a certain amount of games for every loan deal and stuff like that. So they do get the games, but even talking about loan players now, and Ojo's being linked away, and I think Middlesbrough and Newcastle, under no circumstances do you send him to Middlesbrough on loan. None. You go and you send him to Newcastle. You send him to Newcastle and you say, there you go, Premier League club. You go and do that for a season and then come back to us. There's no point in going to a championship.
I think it's
a false level.
I think we've been smart recently where we've sort of instilled in the loans that they play a certain percentage of minutes or games. But for me, I agree with Craig. Woodburn's at that age where he's too young to go out on loan, and he's also too young to sort of have a permanent place in our matchday squad. But
what's going on with him is perfect now. He's in and out of the matchday squad. He's training all the time at the first team.
Yeah.
He's 17 or 18 years of age. There's no problem in doing that for another year. Playing some League Cup games, playing some FA Cup games. No problem.
That's a British thing though. We're all under this impression that going out to get loan games is the best form of experience. It isn't. No, I'm not being funny. As much as I hate to mention them, if you're going to look at the England squads, you know, Dele Alli, he broke into the Tottenham side himself. He didn't need a massive loan deal. I know he came from MK Dons, but you know, he didn't have to have that level of, you know, you go out on loan, get some games, we'll see where you are when you come back. And as much as I hate to mention his name, Marcus Rashford's another one. He wasn't someone that went out and had loads of loan deals. If you're good enough, you'll make your stake in your training sessions. You'll get your game time in your under 23s. You'll find your different ways. But I think, especially nowadays with Premier League clubs, you're under this false pretense that you have to go out on loan to get your experience to become a better player. That's not necessarily the case. Jurgen Klopp has a style of play of when to press, how to press. How are they going to learn that if they're out at a different club?
Yeah, no, the only difference I'd see there is Woodburn is very slight compared to maybe Rashford, who's a bit more powerful in his build in his game, and same with Dele Alli. Like, Woodburn looks like a 16, 17-year-old, if we're being honest. Like, he does.
But what footballer also looks like a 16, 17-year-old that's probably one of the best players in the Liverpool squad right now? Coutinho is the exact same sort of build as what Coutinho is. It's that slight little build. So if there's anyone best to learn of how to do that in the Premier League and do it effectively, surely it's little Phil.
And when you look at Coutinho, he has a great way of manoeuvring his body, and you know, he's a great shape about him when he's receiving the ball or in whatever position, and that's where Woodburn will learn. But there's no problem of saying to Woodburn, listen, you're not going out on loan. You're going to train with the first team. You will be in and out of the first team squad on the bench for some Premier League games. You'll start the League Cup game. You might start FA Cup games. And if he gets 12 appearances this season, okay, whether it be off the bench or starting between League, FA Cup and League Cup. That's great for him. 12 games at 18 years of age in a squad that's going to be looking to challenge at the highest level. You know, even if he gets, could you imagine if when they get in the Champions League and he gets a couple of minutes here, a couple of minutes there, more experience for him. He's in the right place where he is. It's when you go on to 2021 and it's make or break. That's why you go out on loan. It's to see if you can handle first team football and stuff like that. But no, I think with Woodburn, where he is fine. But where the other lads are different is it is make or break. Not make or break for them, but it is kind of one or the other. There's no kind of you're going to stay here and develop. It's going to be you're either going to force your way in or we're going to have to send you out on loan for more experience because we can only, you see, he can only keep one or two young players there on that sort of schedule that Woodburn will be on. Because you're only going to fit one or two of them into your squad sporadically.
Absolutely.
You're not going to fit 4 or 5 in. That's why they go out on loan. You know, because they're above 20. They're above 23's level. Look, playing in the 23s most of the time, if you are a higher caliber, is basically, you know, there's probably more advantage in going to a championship team. You know, out of your comfort zone, and you're having to prove yourself again. That's why they go there. But we'll see what happens. But they all have a chance.
It goes back to Craig's initial question. That what we kind of looking out of this preseason. I think then that's in a nutshell. We've just answered it by Gavin by saying out of those 3 or 4 youngsters that we've mentioned, you know, which 2? Let's say 5 of them. Which 2 will be retained and which 2 will be sent out on loan. That's it. That's what we're looking for.
Before we push on from this, just one last point on Woodburn. What I would have loved or would love to see happen with Ben Woodburn is I would love to see him spend a lot of fucking time on the training pitch, on the training ground, bending the ear of Robbie Fowler. I would love to see him learning from Robbie Fowler about movement, about when to make runs into the box, just bending Fowler's ear, even if it's just half hour here or there. I just think he could learn an awful lot from a natural finisher and poacher like Fowler.
Are we all presuming though that he's going to be a up front central striker? Because I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm presuming he is, if I'm being honest.
Because I've watched him a few times come on and he's been put out on the left and sometimes even centrally a little bit deeper. You know, he may not have the killer pace he needs with his build. If you're small and now don't get me wrong, you can build up body mass and whatever else you want to do. But with his kind of build, I'm wondering.
You definitely could do that.
Has he got the electric pace? You know, like Michael Owen, as much as I fucking despise him, but Michael Owen, because he was a smaller chap, he was never going to drop off and try play. You know, he was playing off the shoulder because he knew he couldn't get physical with big defenders, so he had to run them. And I don't know if Woodburn has that pace where he runs defenders. So you may see him, you may not, but you may see him coming off and playing a kind of off the front man kind of role, or a left side or a right sided role where he doesn't need the pace as much, but he has that instinct in front of goal where he can get in at the back post or the near post.
That's why I was saying about Fowler, because Fowler wasn't blessed with that pace either. He just had that instinct of where to be.
Well,
look, don't get me wrong, Fowler had an amazing shot as well. He could score from anywhere, but
we don't even need to go back to Fowler. I mean, some people. It might be a weird comparison to some people to understand what I mean, but this Firmino lad, if he just trains with him, honestly, I know we're talking about Fowler. I mean, Woodburn for me is an absolute deadly finisher from what we've seen so far. He's got such a cool, calm head. But if this guy just watches the movement and the intelligence from Firmino, this guy can definitely take his place. Now, we call Firmino a false 9. And I agree with Gav. I wouldn't completely say he's going to play up top, but he can play definitely experts that are sort of some coaches that have coached him and say that he's actually a natural number 8. You know, they say he's going to end up playing in the number 8 role. I don't know. I think he's such a good finisher, Craig, that he could be sort of deployed as a Firmino false 9, but turning into a 9 actually, because we can't really call Firmino a false 9 anymore, can we? He is our striker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, Grizz, just to push it, who's that player for you that's going to make that breakthrough?
Wilson.
Cool.
That's my heart talking, not my head.
Yeah, no. And as you said, he certainly has the attributes. Right, lads. He signed a new 5-year contract. We touched on him a few minutes ago. So let's get straight into Trent Alexander-Arnold. Arron, how good do you think Trent can turn out to be, and how far can he go with his career?
I think if you want to describe Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think of the pressure of playing for Liverpool away at Old Trafford when we haven't been in the best of form. You're playing right back in front of 75,000 odd fans, and you looked absolutely fearless, because that's what Trent Alexander-Arnold did. Put in at Old Trafford, that is getting thrown in at the deep end at right back, and he absolutely, he blew me away that day. He showed exactly what he can do. And actually, in terms of last season, you look at some of the key moments, a lot of people in that Leeds game where we beat them 2-0 look back to Woodburn scoring. What a lot of people forget is it was Trent Alexander-Arnold that got the ball from the right wing position for the first goal, whipped it in for Divock Origi to tap in.
Quality. So yeah, I was there. Quality.
The delivery was a lot better, and actually that's something that a lot of Liverpool fans have kicked off about Nathaniel Clyne at the moment, where, to be fair, it does make me laugh, because we used to moan that Glenn Johnson wasn't good enough defensively. Well, I do think Clyne's good enough defensively, but he doesn't offer a lot going forward at the moment. So I think for Trent Alexander-Arnold, the comment that I just absolutely loved this week was, I am not happy until I am captain of this club. This was the same player that walked out as a mascot when he was 11 years of age of Jamie Carragher. And we've got a player now, again, finally, that's saying, I am not happy till I am captain of this club. He lives 5 minutes away from the training ground. He's athletic. I'm not being funny. You don't get told. I've read Stephen Gerrard's autobiography, as I'm sure all you lads have. To be mentioned in his book to say this boy is going to be the real deal from not only just a legend, but Stephen Gerrard. The weight that's on this kid's shoulders, and he's still showing us what he can do. I think he can be fantastic. He can go on to be one of the best right backs, in Liverpool history. And it's something that we haven't had much of in the last 10, 15 years, a good right back. But I think Trent can be up there.
To be fair, Gav knows exactly how that feels, because Grizz said the same thing about Gav when he first started podcasting.
Yeah, and how wrong he was. But
I'm never wrong. Carry on.
I've loads of people that'll say different. But
carry on.
What was Aaron's touched on something there? Old Trafford and going in and in the Lions Den, and I think on the day they might have thrown, was it Martial out onto the left against them?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been. I wasn't too sure it was Martial or Rashford, but I think they threw Martial at him, who is a £60 million footballer. No matter what way you look at it, a massive reputation. I really rate Martial. I've always said it, but he coped with him so well. It reminded me a bit of Rob Jones when Rob Jones went and made his debut for Liverpool at Old Trafford, or as a right back, and it was like watching, Rob Jones Mark II. The thing about Trent is, he signed the deal the other day, and I noticed he done an interview on LFC TV, and he's bulked up a little bit. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. He's bulked up a little bit.
He's very broad-shouldered anyway.
Yeah, but he has bulked up. He looks that little bit.
He absolutely has.
There's a bit tougher about him, But the thing is, and that's intentional. There's no doubt about that. But the advantage he has is he's played centre midfield, he's played right midfield, and centre midfield and right midfield is all about supply. And they're hitting the right ball at the right time to the right person. And that's where he has an advantage when he plays right back, because defensively he knows what wingers and what centre midfielders trying to supply the opposition are looking for. So he's able to cover. And going forward, he knows where he should be putting the ball for attacking players, because he's done it while further up the pitch. I think he's a fabulous player. I really do. There's a commitment about him. He's lightning fast. The speed of him is, and I think you'll only see that more when he is a bit bulkier and he's going down that wing, and he has pace, he's power, he has a final ball, but he's very, very good defensively as well, and he'll only get better at that. People have said, you might see him going into midfield. I don't think so. I think he's being earmarked as a right back, and that's it. And it's going to be an absolute, if Klopp could clone a right back of what he wanted, I think he sees it in this lad. At 18, is he still 18?
I don't know. We'll be calling him young Trent Alexander-Arnold for the next 10 years anyway.
He probably will, yeah. But to sign a deal, I think he signed a deal not long ago, but to sign another deal now,
6 months ago, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But to sign another deal now, another 5-year deal, shows the commitment the club have to him and the belief they have in him. And I'm exactly the same. I expect huge things from him. And as I said earlier, if him and Klein want to absolutely go at each other for a right back spot and push them each other to the absolute limit, it's only good for Liverpool.
Right, just a quick question there, Gav. You touched on his best position going forward, and you think it's going to be a right back, and some people may think it's going to be right side of midfield. Now, I'm in no way suggesting that we're ever going to play this system, but would he be the ideal right wing back in the 3-5-3? Or sorry, 3-5 or 3-5-2?
Yeah, he could, and again, Rob Jones done that, and Rob Jones played left sometimes as well when Liverpool were stuck. But yeah, he could be, because you see, as a right wing back, you have to have a serious engine on you. You have to be able to get up and down and up, and you have to be back all the time to get into shape. But you have to nearly be the man on the back post sometimes. You know, you nearly turn into that right-sided player in a front three, if that makes sense. And he has it. That lad looks like he can run all day. I'm tired watching him, you know. But yeah, he could be. But you see, there, like we've talked about Klein I've talked about Klein and him pushing each other. But there you go. Like, isn't it great to be able to, if you could go out and play in a team on a Sunday, and they're thinking we're going to play 4-3-3, and we turn and we go, no, do you know what, we're going to play 3-4-3, or we're going to, I'm not a fan of 3-4-3 because I just think immediately your fullbacks or your wingbacks turn into a 5 and you sit too deep. But isn't it great to be able to have them options? And if you can go into games where people don't know what system you're going to play, even when you put the 11 on the sheet, you still don't know what we're going to play. It's great. And look, he's a young lad, lives close to the training ground, loves Liverpool, and you know he's going to give everything he has every minute of every day, and you can't ask for any more than that.
Having that tactical flexibility, especially with the Champions League season ahead, though, is going to be a huge thing for us. So as much as we might like having to switch to that system, it does give us that away from home option in Europe if we need to sit that bit deeper and we need to soak it up for a while still maybe trying to hit them on the counter to poach out an away goal.
Yeah, but you see, no, I've no problem with that. I've never been a fan of that system. It's not just Liverpool. You know, Chelsea done it really well, but I couldn't watch Chelsea. Like, that has no interest. I've no interest in what Chelsea does as a football team. The way they play, especially, I just couldn't. It doesn't float my boat at all. But yeah, you're right. If you need to go in 3 centre halves but you could nearly put 11 out and be able to say, right, look, you drop into centre half, look an Emre Can, and say, look, you're playing deepest in the midfield. What we're going to do is we're going to drop you in as a third centre back. We're going to make them full backs, wing backs, and then when we soak it up and we get into the game, we just put you back into midfield, drop them 2 lads back into full back, and that 11 can still change 2 systems. You're not relying on substitutions or anything like that. You can just fluidity, isn't it? That's the word that everyone loves. So yeah, the more options, the better. But just going back to Trent, I can see him being a regular in the squad at least this season, at least.
Grizz, I'll give you the final word on Trent Alexander-Arnold. What are you expecting from him both this season and as his career progresses?
Again, his debut did the parallels with Rob Jones. You know, making his debut at Old Trafford. Rob Jones was up against Ryan Giggs. We all know about Ryan Giggs as a player. Trent Alexander was up against Martial. To counter what Aaron said, I think he had a bit of a dodgy 20 minutes. There was the first 20 minutes were a bit dodgy, and that's absolutely natural. And you expect that as a kid making his debut, and we were in shit form. Do you remember he was just sort of brought in the last minute? I think there was like a sort of Klein got injured. I don't know what happened in the warm-up or something, or even no one knew about it. He was thrown in the last minute. I think
Klein was injured during the week. He was injured during the week and was doubtful right up to the game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a bruised foot, wasn't it? It wasn't like a big injury. It was touch and go knock.
Yeah. My ITK prowess wasn't around. You know, I didn't know about that injury at that time, so I couldn't have predicted it. But he actually grew into that game, and by the end, he was absolutely in charge of Martial. And to play like that in front of 70,000 at Old Trafford.
Did he not take Martial off?
Yeah, they did.
Sure they did. Or they switched people on wings and stuff?
No, he switched. He took him off. He saw him off. We've labelled, some part of our fan base have labelled, maybe sort of for banter purposes more than anything else, John Flanagan as the Scouse Cafu. well, this guy is the real deal, man. This guy is, he's actually physically very similar to Cafu in terms of he's got these long legs, what Cafu had as well, these upright, broad shoulders. This guy is, for me personally, the real deal, Craig. I can see this kid going right to the top. His attitude.
Physically, Grizz, you know, he kind of almost reminds me of a Martin Kelly.
Yeah, Martin Kelly was a bit more broad, sort of upper body. This guy...
Martin Kelly was more centre-half build than
I was just going to say...
For a right-back, Martin Kelly was very broad-shouldered and very tall, whereas usually we're looking at right-backs or left-backs being kind of slight individuals, maybe 5 foot, 5'7",
yeah,
5'8".
To me, Martin Kelly always looked like a centre-back playing right-back, as like an Ivanovic, what role he played for Chelsea. But this kid has a far more athletic build, and it shows. I mean, I've seen him. I've had the pleasure, and it was a pleasure to watch him. I've seen him twice now live, and that game that Arron was referring to in terms of where he put it on a plate for Origi, I think it was, against Leeds.
It was, yeah.
It was,
yeah. Oh man, I mean, that was a shit performance by him. It was an awful game, but he was the shining light in that as well. Klein, again, I haven't got an issue with Klein. Klein is very solid defensively, but we know Klein's limitations going forward. This kid has it all. I disagree with Gav that he will end up playing right back all his life. I think it's a matter of time once sort of he matures. I think he's perfect for the attacking midfield role or a right-sided midfield role, but I can't speak highly enough of him. In fact, we should stop talking about him in case we sort of bad lucky or something and just talk about Lucas or something.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that he's got a fantastic career ahead of him and we all wish him the best. So, right, we'll move on to the little magician. So, talking about Coutinho, there's been a lot of conjecture lately about PSG maybe coming in with a bid, and does he have his price? Well, that's pretty much my exact question, lads. One, does he have his price that will sell him at? And two, how important is he to the team? Is he unsellable? Or if Klopp was to sell him and be promised every penny of the transfer fee to reinvest, would you be happy enough selling him? Grizz, I'll come to you first.
Every player has his price, unfortunately. I've said this before, so my opinion is that no one is that crucial to a team that you can't do without. I mean, we've had Stevie G retiring. We've had the magician Suarez leaving us when Rush left us. We've had legends leave us. So from that point of view, no one is that crucial. But saying that, at this point in our team's development and the way we've kind of, near the end of the last season, the kind of way Klopp has sort of seemed to be setting up, the kid's crucial. I mean, the kid's crucial at the moment. We can't sell him. We shouldn't sell him. But in a direct answer, if you want a direct answer, every player has a price. Now, what that price is debatable. I mean, what are we talking? We're talking Lukaku going for, is it 75, maybe 90 million or something like that?
75 90 possibly.
Million.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking around that level of, we're talking Coutinho maybe around that figure. We're talking about 80 million for Coutinho, even to sort of think about it or come to the table. And if Klopp was promised that, every single penny of that to invest, and if Klopp went out and sort of, that enabled Klopp to go and get a Keita and a Van Dijk, then me personally, and another couple of attackers for that price, me personally, I'm cold like that. I would do that. But in this team's development and where we are, ideally, we'd like to keep all our best players, and that's the way it should be as well.
So we're saying then that he has a price in around 75, 80 million, and you'd be happy enough if Klopp was promised every penny of that to reinvest, that Klopp would be wise enough to invest that properly. If
Klopp agreed to it, see, the thing is, I don't think Klopp would sell him. But if you're asking me, would I sell him? 80 plus million, and if it was promised me that I'm getting 80 plus million, then yeah, I'd have confidence in my ability to sort of improve the squad in 2 or 3 positions by selling Coutinho Look, Coutinho, let's not get away from it. Coutinho is a lovely, magical player. But he's not consistent, and he hasn't been in his career at Liverpool. Okay? So we're not talking elite. He's world class. At his best, he's world class. But he's not a world class player. I think it's arguably he's not a world. I mean, some people would say he's world class. I think he can have world class performances, but I don't think he's consistently a world class player. I mean, he's not in your Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, in sort of that elite level. I think he's a level below. So a level below player that can fetch you 80 to 90 million. I did say 80 million. I would talk. I'd probably settle for about 90 million. You know, every player has his price, I'm afraid, especially in this day and age.
Gav, where do you stand on this?
80 or 90 million, no way. Not in a chance in hell.
Not even if he was going outside the UK?
I don't care where he's going. He could go to fucking Mars. I'm not giving him away with 90 million. I don't usually do this. I don't usually disagree with Grizz, but I do on this one. Liverpool should be able to go and get Keita and Van Dijk without having to sell anybody. To say take 80 or 90 million and improve in 2 or 3 places, literally look at the transfer market. 80 or 90 million improves you in one position nowadays for that money. There's talk of this Sigurdsson fella from Swansea of 50 million quid, which is just, I like him as a player, but that's just absolutely...
I'd actually argue, Gav, that 90 million United are after dropping won't improve them one iota from last season from what Ibrahimovic was doing for them.
Yeah, but look, they're none of my business and I don't care about them. No, you see, the thing is, if you would have said to me a year ago, look, 70 million in around that for Coutinho, I probably would have played ball. But no, not with the last couple of games of last season and this deliberate move into his best position, which is his best position. You can't turn around and sell that player. You just can't. You can't put him in the position that he's destined to be great in and then say, oh, we've moved you in there, but now we've got an offer and it goes, no way.
Has he got a price?
Oh, he has. Everyone has a price. I'm not arguing that point. Everyone has a price. But I would have said, I agree. I agree. Everyone has a price, but not at 80 or 90 million. No way, not a chance.
I'm just being realistic, isn't it?
And the thing is, if you start at 80, you're not getting 90, because if you start at 80, someone starts at 60 and you get 70. That's how it works. But I just think he is crucial, and all of this. If someone's telling me that you have to sell him for 80 or 90 million to go and secure Van Dijk and Keita,
no,
we're doing something wrong.
No, I didn't mean. Grizz did backtrack on that then and say.
Yeah, I didn't mean just to sort of. I didn't mean to sort of fund them too. I meant sort of if it meant 80, 90 million and sort of forget Van Dijk and Keita. I did. Maybe I shouldn't. I said that wrong. But what I meant was every player has a price because you did go for a wee, right? The listeners don't know that. So you went for a piss and you missed the best bit, all right? So what I said to Craig asked me directly, has he got a price? And I said, every player has a price.
Everyone has a price. Everybody.
We have had legends bigger than Coutinho leave us. We've had better players, arguably, leave us. And that was where I was coming from. Price-wise, I was trying to just give a rough price in the market. 90 million, we can talk.
Yeah, no, look, his price may be 90 million. My argument is you don't sell him.
And I said
he does have a price. No, and I don't think, I agree with you on that. I don't think he sells him. I think he's deliberately done something on the last 2 to 3 games of last season where he's went, look, go in there, I want to watch this, and I think something clicked. And it may have been circumstance, but I think something clicked. And look, Look, at the end of the day, right, we're going on about Keita, we're going on about you have to be either pro Jan or pro Henderson. You can't like them both. You have Grujic there. You have Lucas is still there, so you have to still discuss him. You have Ronaldo. You have Lallana, right? Well, like I don't know, but you have all these players, right?
Oh, he's staying. By the way,
the thing is, right? You can argue Jan and Henderson. You can argue Lallana. You can argue Wijnaldum, and there's not one single argument over Coutinho, because at the end of the day, if we go in with a 3-man midfield, it's going to be Jan or Henderson, right? Plus Wijnaldum or Lallana, as things stand, and Coutinho. He is nailed on in there. And
let me throw a hypothetical at you, though. Again, hugely hypothetical, but we get our business done. We bring in Keita, we bring in Van Dijk. we get Robertson or whoever is the preferred left back. We get that done very late into the window. We know there's a bit of interest sniffing around Coutinho, and for some strange reason, we get a sniff of Mbappe. But we need to raise funds, no?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Like, don't get me wrong. Mbappe looks a phenomenal player at 18 or 19 years of age. He's had a good season in France. He's had a decent season, you know, Champions League wise. But Mbappe is an impact player, and he makes it. This is a player we're talking about. I'm not exaggerating. Coutinho is the player that will absolutely just control this Liverpool team, given the opportunity in that position. And I mean,
thanks to you,
orchestrate. He will literally orchestrate this team, given the right people around him. And I think, look, if you went and got Van Dijk and Robertson and whoever else you want to get, and you went in and you said, right, we're going to play Jean, and we're going to play Keita, and we're going to play Coutinho, and we've Lallana, and we've Wijnaldum, and we've Grujic, and name all these players and all these options. At the end of the day, there's going to be one that's going in the front six. There's going to be one that you're going to pin everything on, and it's him. You can talk Salah, Mane, and everything. Look, Salah, Mane, Sturridge, Firmino, whoever they are, all right. You watch the amount of ball they're going to get from Coutinho next season, and he is going to orchestrate this team, and that's what he's being put in there for. There is a price, but I don't think this summer is when the price is met. I think, don't get me wrong, next season could come along and it's 100 million, and we've had an amazing season, we've won a title, or we've gone far in the Champions League, or whatever it is, and he may say, look, it's always been my dream to go to Spain, because most South American players, it is. It's as simple as that. And then you kind of have to look. But no, I'm never in a million years swapping him back for Coutinho this summer. No way.
Aaron, where do you stand on Coutinho, and does he have a price?
If I found Coutinho in bed with my missus, I'd Google how to make a Brazilian breakfast, and I'd go and do it for him. That's how much I rate this player. Honestly, this guy, I've had the privilege, and I'm only 24. I've had the privilege of watching Messi, Ronaldo, Aubameyang. I've seen Suarez. I've seen all these great players live, and I'm telling you now, this boy is up there. This boy is up there. While we were talking about him, I just thought, you know what? I just want to check how much he's improved in terms of, again, and I don't want to talk about stats all the time. He scored 14 goals last year. Okay, so when he was first at Liverpool, he scored 3. Next season, he scored 5. Next season, he scored 8. The next season, he scored 12. Last season, he played 7 less games and scored 14. This guy now gets the Premier League. He's done it for the last 2-3 years. This boy gets it. This man is not sellable this season. You can offer me any price. We do not learn from our mistakes. Torres had a price. Torres went. Did we recover? No, we didn't recover. Suarez had a price. He went. Did we do anything with the money? No, we didn't. Again, another season after having a star in our we failed. There is no one. You tell me another player out there at the moment that plays in Coutinho's position and can play the variety of positions he does that is or near his ability right now, because I can't name one.
He gets more.
Lucas Leiva can play everywhere.
I'll tell you now, he gets more goals from that deeper position this season than he did last season.
Yeah, and this is the thing with Coutinho. Let's not forget that he had a free kick against Arsenal 30 yards out, and I even said, don't shoot there, just clip it in. The boy just banged it top corner, and this wasn't a free kick where you thought, that's a bit of hit and hope, because he'd done it 3 or 4 more times that season. So not only, every season he seems to add something onto it. Remember that season 2 years ago when we were saying, I think it was Rodgers' last full season, Coutinho needs to score more. All of a sudden he banged one in against Bolton from distance, banged one in against Southampton from distance, banged one in against City from distance. We're going, he's added that. Then you think, he needs to add to his set plays, didn't he? Well, this season he goes and scores 4 free kicks. This man, I have to agree with the last point, he will orchestrate everything in this Liverpool team. He is going to be the man to lead us, I think, to bigger and better things. And if you sell him now, you're not going to get anyone of his quality. You're not going to get someone that knows the league the way he does. Yes, every player has his price. I don't think Coutinho does this year. And even next year, we're talking about Paul Pogba being worth £90 million. Why on earth aren't we talking about Coutinho being worth 120, 130? Because he's done more in his career for me than what Pogba has.
I agree, because the market has gone that way. Look, I don't think any footballer is worth £130 million. That's just, but the market as it is, look, that's what you pay. But you see, we're talking about Coutinho orchestrating things, and at the end of the day, if you look at the players around him, regardless of who plays, You know, if Ronaldo, Lallana, you know, Henderson, Jan, they all have an energy about them. They all have a movement about them. And what Coutinho thrives in there is while they're causing mayhem, he's just picking up pockets. And he's nearly playing in slow motion while all this mayhem's going on around him. And he's getting that time. He's not off the left where he's trying to hit balls from the left to make things happen. He's central where he has all these options. The whole pitch opens up around him. And he can pick whatever pass he wants. And he can pick a pass. There's just no doubt about it. And then, do you know what? If you don't want him to pass and you try to block all the avenues, yeah, block them. But do you know what? You're leaving him then 30 yards out. And you're leaving him 30 yards out on his own. And he's more than able to stick one in the top corner. He is on a progression. And he may get to a progression where he thinks, oh, look, I've plateaued at Liverpool and I need to go and I need to further myself at Barcelona. It will be Barcelona, in my opinion, if he leaves Liverpool. But right now, he is absolutely crucial to what we want to be and where we want to go.
I think Coutinho as well. You've only got to think about what he's done in recent years and the improvement he's making and where he's going. And I think, if you wanted to be completely honest with it, I think he's settled at Liverpool. He's got Firmino around him. He's got Lucas. He did obviously have Moreno, but we all know where he's going this summer. So I think for Coutinho as well, in terms of where he's going, the way he's settled, I honestly believe he gets to Liverpool fans and he wants to win something with this club. And, you know, you guys go to the games, you know, here and there. I go to every game and I can honestly say there's few players where every time they touch the ball, I think, here we go, something's going to happen. And I get that feeling with Coutinho. The moment he shifts that ball onto his right foot, you just think, here we go, chance. And there aren't many players that can give you that feeling every time they get the football.
You know what makes me smile about Coutinho, lads? Looking back the year he signed, he looks like such a little cherub, such a child compared to the fella he is today.
Yeah.
And I think Aaron's right. I think he has settled into the city. None of us can argue that every player doesn't have his price, but I fully appreciate what Gav said, that price isn't what's important to us this summer. We need to push on, and Coutinho is the player that will make that 11 tick next season. Lads, we need to move on because we're pushed for time, but we'll move on to some questions from the listeners. And there's one that I missed out on last week, and it came in from a friend of our very own, Tino's. And what John wants to know is, what's our top 3 favourite cereals?
Cereals.
Yeah.
Look at that. Me and Gav said at the same time.
You know what, lads? I'm not going to lie. I had a huge smile on my face. I'm a huge cereal fan. When this question came up, I thought,
mate.
I'm all over it.
Cereal's better at night than daytime, mate. It's thrown out there.
Yeah, see, that was part 2 of the question. Where are you on that?
You've absolutely smashed it, Aaron. You've absolutely smashed it.
We'll go with that one first then. Is it okay to eat cereal late at night?
Absolutely.
It's not okay. It's fucking epic.
It's the best time in the day. Oh, you see, I don't eat breakfast. So any time I eat cereal is usually at night time.
Why is it the best time at night?
Gav,
it just is.
You get your halal cereal.
Halal cereal, yeah. Grizz has a mate who knows a mate who knows another mate, and he just DMs him and asks him to get me the halal stuff.
Sends it around Gavin's every day.
That wasn't a religious dig or anything. That was a bit of an inside joke from our WhatsApp group. So there's no need to be saying that we're being racist or anything along those lines. It was just an inside joke.
Basically, Craig spread vicious rumours today that all my family only eat halal meat for some reason, and I came back to about 60 notifications on my phone. Thanks for that. But yeah, no, there's something about eating cereal at night time, cold milk over the cereal.
It calms me down.
Any fucking food calms you down, Grizz.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
But three favourite cereals. This could be short because I don't eat many.
Don't pick weird ones. If
we'll
pick weird ones.
We'll even this up a bit. We'll go around 1-1-1. So we'll do 3 laps.
Okay. So does it have to be in like third place, second place, fourth place, or just name 3?
No, name 3.
Name 3.
Okay.
Name 1.
Name 1.
Crunchy nut cornflakes.
Ah.
All right, I'm going to counter your crunchy nut cornflakes with one from Aldi, and it's their tropical fruit muesli, and that might sound really boring,
disgusting,
but Jesus Christ, you're talking pumpkin seeds, nuts.
It sounds nearly as bad as pineapple on a pizza.
Oh my goodness, this cereal for me is just delicious. It's just everything that I want in a bowl. It's got it all. Grizz?
Okay.
There's one called... do you guys have This is going to sound
Don't say
racist.
Weetabix. If you say
granola, Grizz, for fuck's sake.
This is going to sound racist. But
no, we only have Lucky Charms in Ireland. That's all we have.
Do you guys have granola? Fuel. It's called fuel. Have you got that in Ireland?
Granola
that's the protein stuff, innit?
No, but Aaron, I know it, when everyone thinks protein stuff and you think, oh, it tastes shit.
Big
But
bag of powder, like.
No, the chocolate granola fuel, it's called. Wow, it's just a bowl of goodness with chocolate. How can you have a bowl of goodness that's good for you, healthy for you?
It's not. I guarantee you it's not good for you. I guarantee you it's not good for you.
You don't know shit then, because I'm telling you this is good for you. I'm telling you, it's called fuel.
You did see the fella that was at the last game with me, didn't you? That runs the largest Whole Foods distribution in Ireland. That I worked there for 5 years, so I'm quite well versed.
Yeah, but that's
in the nutritional
Ireland,
sector.
Right?
The protein is different in England.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right, we have halal protein here. Right? I'm telling you,
this is Brexit protein.
Now, Aaron, have you come across that? Back me, because these Irish lads are going to take over with their weird cereals.
To be honest, I'm going to be controversial now. The best one for me, and it's already been mentioned, is Lucky Charms. Why would I want fruit in my cereal? I want marshmallows and everything good, and that is what Lucky Charms gives you.
Where are you getting these Lucky Charms, by the way? You're not going into one of these American stores and paying 13 quid a box, are you?
I'm not being funny. That's value for money.
Jesus,
that is value for money. Now, to be fair, I only buy that as a treat because it's my favourite every so often. But if I'm going to eat normally, it'd just be golden nuggets.
See, Aaron's already he's just shot his load there and picked 2 cereals already, so he's been greedy.
Yeah,
so.
he's allowed.
Yeah,
he's allowed.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing is, there's one I used to have, and it was years ago. I don't think they did. It was done by Kellogg's, but it was called Nut Feast. So it was like nut clusters, and it was basically like Special K with nuts and stuff, nut clusters in it. It was amazing.
Yeah, they do that now still.
No, that's a crunchy nut clusters they do now.
Crunchy nut clusters, yeah.
No, this was like literally like Special K with nut clusters in it, and they were amazing.
No, that was a Nestle cereal.
Was it a Nestle
and
cereal?
And it's called clusters.
No, this was called Nut Feast. 100%. And but Aldi actually do a lovely version of it at the moment. Really nice. It's like a purple box, and it's really good.
Guys, I've got a confession to make. Craig, you can edit this out afterwards, but I'm going to be open with you because you're my brothers. I can tell you this kind of shit, yeah. But only,
don't edit this out under no circumstances.
Only till about 4 or 5 years ago, right? I actually thought Special K was only for women.
No, that's the pod now. That's the intro of the pod. That's
no,
the name
I'm
of the
serious.
Pod.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Well,
call me naive or call me what? I thought.
Can I ask you why?
Yeah, I'm going to come to it. Yeah,
is it the girl in the bikini on the back of it?
That's exactly it. All right.
Yeah.
So we used to see this advert of this red bikini-clad young female walking along the swimming pool, right?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that's not me.
No, it's 100% not you.
Right? That's definitely not me, right?
Is that why you're going out and eating the manliest of protein cereal?
Yeah, so I went.
He's going eating out. He's breaking up a cavity block and putting it into a bowl of milk.
Listen, I'm going to get bashed for this, but I'm being honest, right? I think honesty is the best policy in this type of situation, right? So up until 4 or 5 years ago, Special K, until my missus actually poured it for me. Like, I saw it in the cupboard. And she goes, oh, we've only got Special K left. And I said, oh, well, are you trying to take the piss? And she went, what? What's the matter with you? Because I suddenly turned into Incredible Hulk. I was like, are you actually going to put Special K in my breakfast bowl, cereal bowl?
I feel sorry for Mrs. Grizz, I really do.
Honest to God, Special K, all this time I thought it was for women. And then she slapped me straight. And then she explained to me, you retard. But anyway, cut a long story short.
Special K, you love Special K.
Chocolate Shreddies is my second one.
Right.
Chocolate Shreddies. Because chocolate Shreddies. Yeah, my second nomination is Chocolate Shreddies.
Yeah, no, that's a decent.
Because you get the goodness of the Shreddies, right? And then you get the fucking sexiness of the chocolate in there as well.
Which completely knocks out the goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Neutralizes the goodness, Gav.
So there's no goodness in it.
Doesn't it? No, there's still goodness in it. You just gotta go for.
No, there's no goodness in it. You've eaten the goodness, then you taste the chocolate, which then
Well, actually, this is
Gav,
what
you're forgetting we have our stupid Irish cereals over here, and he has his Brexit cereal.
No, this is orthodox cereal. I'm talking about chocolate shreddies. But you're right, Gav. You shouldn't have it at night. This is where the day-night theory comes into play. You should have this in the morning because that is a bowl of goodness for you in the morning.
I don't eat breakfast. So nighttime.
We've had the nighttime debate. That's done. I'm going to counter your chocolate shreddies with the most boring thing I could probably ever say, but I love it again, and it's porridge. Just give me a bowl of porridge with a spoonful of jam in it, and I'm done.
Okay.
The only way I'll eat porridge is a load of cinnamon on it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll give you the cinnamon, because I was going to say, if you just have porridge without any sign of sugar, you know...
You're definitely some sort of serial killer.
No, you leave it overnight. You leave it overnight.
Cinnamon grahams.
Are you building a wall?
No, you let these porridge oats soak. I'm none of your fucking ready break nonsense type porridge. I'm talking proper Odlum's porridge.
Okay, in that sense, then, for that point, then there's another subsection of this question, right? Do we eat our cereal crispy, or do we let it get really soggy? Because I'm a soggy boy.
It depends, Grizz.
No,
hang on. You aren't hijacking this. We're going around and we're getting the tree first, and then you can have all your subsection nonsense.
Yeah, shut up, Gav.
Right, so what did I say? I said nut feast and I said crunching of cornflakes, didn't I?
Yeah, so Gav loves nuts is the...
Yeah, it's Aaron's turn for the second one.
No, Aaron's had two. He's gone for his third.
Lucky Charms.
Shut up, Aaron, as well, then. Go on.
No. Jesus Christ. You see, when he gets a bit of special K into him...
This is cereals, man. Come on.
Sassy.
Food. This is food.
Aaron, you go with your third one first. I'll go next.
To be fair, boys, it's Cookie Crisp. So what if it's for your mouth? If having cookies for breakfast, I am loving life with milk. So it's Cookie Crisp.
So you can tell Aaron's the baby of the group.
Cookie Crisp, it's a good show.
I'd rather be the baby than the woman eating Special K.
No, I didn't eat it.
I bet you Grizz has a pink dressing gown.
He doesn't. He's in his kitchen in a red mankini trying to reenact the back of the box.
No, but ever since I heard that you can lose weight with that, or it's part of a diet, you can be used to a diet. You know, I do actually have some now and again, but
right,
Gav, go on. Give us your third and final.
It's hard. Like, I'd probably go. I love bran flakes.
Oh, that was the one I wasn't accepting. I'm not accepting that. You can fuck right
off. I love
off.
bran flakes. No, hold on a minute. You've asked me, I'm telling you. But I'm going to throw something in at the end just for people to see if they remember them. But bran flakes with just a minimal amount of milk on it. So they're literally crunchy in your mouth. Bran flakes.
Do you drink a glass of prune juice before or after you have your bran flakes?
No, I don't even know what prune juice looks like. You know, does it come in a can?
If it doesn't come in a can, fuck off.
Not interested. But there was one, so I'll stick with that. But there was one years and years ago called Banana Bubbles. All right, which were like Rice Krispies, but when you poured the milk on them, you know, they were like eating Rice Krispies, but they were banana flavored. So like the milk went kind of a banana flavor, and they were amazing. So I just wanted to see if anyone remembers them. That's all.
Grizz,
that's it.
What's your last?
My last one is, as you can tell, I've got a bit of a chocolate thing going on. My last one
just a bit.
Yeah, the last one is another boring. See, it's a combination of Weetabix and chocolate now, and it's called the mini Weetabixes, the choco Weetabixes. Don't know what the exact name for them is. Hold on, let me check.
I'm nearly sure, right? I'm nearly sure.
Chocobix or something, aren't they?
No. Grizz is at the stage now where he's literally going out and he's buying a box of cornflakes and he's just absolutely smashing a big, massive dairy milk with a hammer and flinging it all over his cornflakes.
Listen, if they ever stop doing mini Weetabixes, I will do that shit. I will revert to that. I'm telling you that now.
On the Weetabix subject, because this leads us nicely in, softer or hard?
Nah, mate. This is cereals we're talking about, right? Listeners, in case people start taking a piss at me.
We'll go with just Weetabix first on this particular.
Nah, mate, soft, soggy. It's got to be like what you said about the porridge. Let the milk soak in.
Hot or cold?
Put a bit of sugar. Cold milk. Only babies have warm milk. Remember that. Anybody who has warm milk on the cereal is a baby, right? It's a softie, I'm telling you. It's got to be cold milk and let the milk soak right into the Weetabix. and it becomes a porridge basically.
Sugar?
So
That's a crime. It's an absolute crime. That is.
It's not a crime.
Sugar.
It is.
Grizz?
Yeah, sugar, man, sugar. These days, Canderel, but on the whole,
because there's not enough sugar in all the chocolate I have flung over the top of everything you're eating.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Shut up, my dietitian.
So my last one again is pretty boring. It's strawberry crisp. Pretty straightforward. I like
What's
strawberry
that?
crisp. Strawberry crisp.
What is it?
You never seen
Aaron,
strawberry crisp? It's just
Aaron,
basically
have we
like
got that
bits
in-
of freeze-dried strawberries in like a crispy type clustery cereal type thing.
You must have got that up the north. You didn't get that down here.
They sell again a version of it in Aldi, but they also, what's that company? There is a company that do it, and they also do loads of muesli products and stuff. I can't think of the name of them, but yeah, you can get a pecan crisp, you can get a strawberry crisp, you can get a chocolate crisp. I like the strawberry one, but the soggy or crunchy debate, we should really address this very quickly before we move on.
Crunchy all day long.
Aaron?
See, I'm crunchy.
Grizz? A Weetabix aside, Grizz, where do you stand on there?
No, I'm a softie. It's got to be soggy. Yeah, I'm a softie at heart.
Yeah, but what about cereal though? Soft or crunchy?
See, I knew again. You fucking missed the point where you went for another wee, right? Because you're on your seventh can.
You keep saying he's gone for a wee. I'm sure to God he's just stocking up on cans.
Well, yeah, exactly. Either that. Because I said we're talking about cereals.
See, I didn't want to say that, but
I don't want any sexual innuendo piss taking place, right? But I'm a softie. I love it soft and soggy. The cereal has to be like almost porridge-esque. You know, it has to be. It's got to be porridge-esque.
We're gonna have to put an explicit tag on this podcast, I think.
We're gonna have to like mask your voice for your own protection.
I'll do it, man.
It's going to be like an episode of Crime Line.
Listen, I've been honest, and this is what top pods are about: being honest and giving your honest opinion.
I very much doubt there's any fucking top pods out there killing each other over cereal, but
yeah.
But did you notice how this was the most exciting part? I got really excited about this part. Fuck preseason. Fuck Mbappe.
Hey Chris, you got as excited as we Irish boys did last week talking about crisps.
Crisps, oh my God. The Irish and their potatoes. Fucking hell.
No,
no.
Right, lads.
This show is sponsored by Cadbury's next week. Like, it's, you know.
That would be my dream. I'm not going to lie. Cadbury sponsor this show. I'm all over it.
If Cadbury's were to sponsor this show, the only thing I'd look for is a big, massive bag of, the broken purple snacks.
Yeah.
Broken ones. Just broken ones. Deformed ones where you bite into them and you're expecting the biscuit, but it's just all chocolate.
This is a whole another show. I'm not ruining content by going into Cadbury's chocolate. That's a whole another question that we could get an entire show out of that.
Is there Cadbury's Twitter account?
He's after spending an hour and a half telling us about all the chocolate he puts on everything he eats.
Did you just ask if one of the biggest companies in the world have a Twitter account?
Correct.
Yes, I'm very sure that Cadbury's have a Twitter account. They probably have about 7 or 8.
Let me DM them.
If you're getting onto them, Chris, can you ask them, is there any chance of bringing back the Mint Whisper?
The Mint Whisper? When was that out?
Oh, years ago. It was great. The Mint Whisper.
Whispers are
Aaron, did we have that in the UK?
No, I've just seen Cadbury's have 301,000 followers, and they even have a Cadbury's Island account as well, which has 46,000 followers.
Of course they do. Okay. They have a factory out in Coolock. Of course they have an Irish account.
I'm sliding into their DMs today, boy.
Right, Grizz, don't forget to push for sponsorship.
Would you not get one of your Egyptian friends to DM them for you?
No, horses for courses.
It's interesting you say that, because the next question from our listener comes in from, actually it's not a listener, it's from our own contributor, it's Jatin, and he wants to know, speaking of Grizz's Egyptian mates, how does a transfer request work? And what does the player have to do to submit one?
We all have our own idea of how it works, don't we?
Does it involve someone barging into a manager's office and kicking the door off the hinges?
No, not anymore. I don't think. I think if a player wants to go and the club is a bit reluctant, you'll probably find he'll tell his agent that he wants to leave. You see, the problem with transfer requests, I think nowadays is there's massive loyalty bonuses hanging over players' contracts, and one of the stipulations in it is if a transfer request goes in, you lose loyalty bonus. But I think that's going to disappear because there's so much money around now that look, let's take for argument's sake, because we know what we're going around here. Van Dijk, right? Forget all that's gone on before. If Van Dijk goes to Southampton and says, I want to leave, I want to sign with Liverpool, I'm handing you in a transfer request, he could be in line to lose, for argument's sake, to make it easy, £5 million for a loyalty bonus. Because of the length of contract he has, how long he's been there, so on and so on. All right? So what you'll find then is that Liverpool could come along and say, okay, well, look, we're going to pay Southampton what they want. For argument's sake, 60 million. And we're going to give you your 5 million loyalty bonus, plus a signing on bonus. So he's all smoothed out. Southampton get what they want, and away we go. But no, it's all done through agents now, and player hands in a transfer request, he's getting a transfer. It's as simple as that.
That was my next point that I wanted to ask Arron, actually. Do you think, Arron, that that's the end of it? Once a player puts in that transfer request, 99 times out of 100 he gets his move?
I think a lot of us are still stuck on the old pretense of what a transfer request was. I mean, back in the day, maybe even 5-6 years ago, social media wasn't as huge as what it was. So a transfer request wasn't just telling your club you're leaving. It was a come get me plea, wasn't it? It was letting other clubs know, right, come and sign me. I've told this club I want to leave. Here's me getting out. But now with the amount of talk there is going on, and agents play a much bigger role in football now than what they ever have done before. I think a lot of it is now for a player to hand in a transfer request, like you say, one, they could potentially lose money. Two, is it worth it if your deal doesn't go through that you can end up sitting and rotting in the reserves? I think it's one where I think they try to avoid every scenario possible of not handing in this request, just to make sure, obviously, that they don't spite their own nose, spite their face, for such way you want to call it. So I think for the whole Van Dijk scenario, should he hand in a transfer request and everything else, I don't think it'll make an awful lot of difference whether he does or not. I think you can do that without handing a request in, really. I think it's one where it's a really tricky one. I have to say it's a really tricky one because the player's already said he wants to join Liverpool. So for Southampton's point of view, I think it's more they just don't want to sell to Liverpool for one. And two, I think it's a way of trying to drive the price up. So it's a really complicated one, transfer request now. And I think that it's actually something that, as you say, it's starting to die out a little bit, isn't it, really? I've seen Arnautovic handed one in today at Stoke. And to be honest, I don't think anyone would have even realised he was available unless he'd done that today.
I don't think anyone would even realise he fucking existed unless he did that today either. Grizz,
sorry, just on Arnautovic, he handed in. I think West Ham might have made a bid from him and it was refused, and he handed in a transfer request. But you have to remember, like, I wouldn't say his loyalty bonus will be of the level that Van Dijk will be on, because Van Dijk's on mad money, a 6-year deal. And you have to remember, West Ham are probably going, listen, we'll give you anything you need. Because West Ham are like that. They're absolute mad in the head there.
All the Ann Summers gear your missus can wear.
Just moving to that stadium is off their rocker. So, anything to do after that is irrelevant, because they've done the worst thing they could have ever done, in my opinion. But anyway, sorry, go on to Grizz.
Right, lads, we're really pushed on time, so I'm going to give the last word on this to Grizz. So, Grizz, transfer requests. Talk me through them.
No. I'm not going to talk you through them. We're not going to sit and try to speculate how, because look, as we said, each situation is different, as Gav just said. Right? Some will have loads of money, like a big fat contract where he will have to sort of, if he hands in a transfer request, he loses his loyalty bonus. Right? Then you'll have sort of the case of what he's just said, Arnautovic, who will probably just, simply just handed a transfer request because there's nothing to lose for him. There's only to gain. He wants to go. First and foremost, it's definitely not like the old days where the player sort of walks into the manager's room and says, like, XY, I'm going, right? It's all done through agents. Everything these days, the agents control, manipulate the whole situation. With the one that concerns us is the Van Dijk one, right? We're only concerned with the Van Dijk one. Let's be honest. Let's cut to the chase. The Van Dijk scenario, it's so complicated. Let me just
interject really quickly. One thing I want to know about this Van Dijk scenario and the transfer request possibility is how much of that will involve Southampton saving face.
100%.
It's all about Southampton saving face. This whole play that's been played out, this whole process that's been played out, it's to save face. It's Southampton is to only save face. Southampton won't, and Southampton aren't big enough, powerful enough to keep a player of the value and caliber of Van Dijk for the rest of the season if he's unhappy. There is no way. There is no such thing. Pellegrino has come out and said he will not stand in the way of unhappy players. If player wants to go, they go. The rest is just a face-saving tactical battle that's being played out. I personally don't think there's much. If Van Dijk makes a transfer request, I don't think it changes the scenario that much. I think what it does, it increases the chances. Of course it does, but it's just to hike up the price. We will have to pay a premium at the end of the day to get Van Dijk now after the cock-up that we've done, and that's all it is. We will just have to pay the top premium price now for him. Sorry, Gav, go on. You were saying.
I said earlier a transfer request and it's game over. Because if a player goes to Southampton and asks for a transfer request, okay, and he makes it perfectly clear, I want a transfer request and this is where I want to transfer to.
I don't think it's game over because they're aware of that, Gav.
No, but you see, the thing is, but hold on a minute.
Aware of that.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. If he does that and he says, I want to go, and this is all hypothetical because I'm not getting in all around it. Like my brain is, my head is fried listening to all these people all day long about this stuff. But what I'm saying is, if he goes to Southampton and says, I'm handing in an official transfer request and that's where I want to go, all right? Southampton have lost all the cards. It's as simple as that. Southampton don't want a transfer request because I'll tell you why. If he hands in a transfer request, Liverpool go in and go, there's 40 million. You have a player that wants to leave your club. He's now worth less than he was 10 days ago.
Well, my opinion.
So what happens is he goes in my opinion, he goes in and he says, look, they're willing to offer this. The agent knows what Liverpool are willing to offer. Let's not beat around the bush. The agent knows Liverpool are willing to offer £60 million, for argument's sake. He goes in and he says, look, they're willing to offer 60 million. He's not going to lose his loyalty bonus by handing in a transfer request. So here's what we're going to do. They're going to give you 60 million. We're going to take half of that loyalty bonus and they're going to cover the other half along with a signing on bonus. And that's what we're going to do. Because if he hands in a transfer request, okay, now he's worth 40 million because they know you have a player that doesn't want to play for you. So he's not a big as asset as he was 10 days ago. That's my opinion. So they don't want a transfer request. They want to get right onto the cusp of a transfer request and then do business. That's what I think.
Fair enough.
Aaron, have you anything you want to add to this before we finish up?
No, I think I agree with the last point. I think for Southampton, like you say, they lose that card. And I think they're sort of playing on the fact they know that Liverpool are desperate for a centre-back. When you can see a team's in that desperate need of a player, which everybody knows, it's been a well-known fact for Liverpool now that they need another centre-back. I think Southampton are sort of playing on that themselves. And I have to admit, I know a lot of people from Southampton, they are fed up of every time they get a good player or someone good coming through the ranks. Liverpool going, we'll have him. We've had Klein, we've had Lallana, we've had Lambert, and players that actually, some of them might not even become that great for us. Lovren and Lallana, I think Lallana's been fantastic, but they've seen Lovren, who was their best centre-back. They've seen, obviously, Nathaniel Klein, who was their best right-back. They even lost Fonte to West Ham the other month. That was a big set. That was a player that had been with them since day one, really, in terms of when they went down to League One. So I think they're just trying to keep the fans on side a little bit to say, look, we're not just going to let our players go that easy. I think that's all this is at the moment. I think
just a quick thing, Craig. I'm just going to give my opinion on it. The final thing. Sorry. Look, my opinion is we are and we won't. The Liverpool hierarchy will not make a bid for Virgil van Dijk. It's not like Van Dijk gives a transfer request, we get whiff of that transfer request and we put in a bid. No, I'm sorry. In my opinion, it's not working like this. This is not a normal scenario where a transfer request is placed and boom, you go in there. The reason for that is because of that fuck up. We have made a statement and they have documents saying that we were not interested in that player. We're not pursuing that player. The only way we will place a bid is if we get a green light from Southampton. And this is where the standoff is. Because Southampton have to give. It's almost like Southampton.
But that's where my point is, Grizz. The green light will be him going to them and saying, "I'm not handing in a transfer request, but they're willing to pay this."
But there's another standoff yet.
Yeah,
when they say that,
I think I know where you're going with this, and If it is where we're going, I don't want to get down the route of particular letters they might have or they might not have.
No, nothing to do with that. No, nothing to do with that. In my opinion, when Van Dijk says, I want a transfer request, I'm giving a transfer request, Southampton will say you can go anywhere except Liverpool. And that's where the standoff is. Then there will become, so that's where the agent will say, well, they're prepared to pay X amount. No one else is prepared. We've had offers from other clubs. No one's prepared to pay the amount Liverpool play. Only then it's time that we will sort of say, well, it's true, we are prepared to pay that much. And then Southampton will eventually, I'm guessing eventually will say yes, but it's a long, drawn-out affair. It's not as official. It's not as easy as Van Dijk giving a transfer request and Bob's your uncle.
It'll be great. It'll be great crack for the whole summer, though. It'll keep us going, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll be out of business. I'll be out of business if it doesn't.
No, you won't. You're pulling 12 vans into the back of Anfield at the start of August. So.
But yeah, that's it. Just my opinion.
Well, one thing's for sure, it's certainly going to keep us entertained through the summer. Just before we finish up, we have a couple of shameless plugs. We're going to give away the 2005 Champions League shirt on Wednesday, so keep an eye out for the winner of that. If you haven't entered yet, have a look on the Twitter account. The competition tweet is on there. We'd ask that you try and check out our YouTube channel, ARW Now. We've lots of great content already up there, but there's a hell of a lot more coming over the next few weeks. And Gav and the lads will be back on Wednesday night / Thursday with ARW Weekly. Until then, a huge thanks to Gav, Grizz and Arron for joining me this week, and we'll catch up with you guys soon. Take care and goodbye.